What's going on, everybody out there? This is Popular Stranger, and we are back at you again today with another Madden 22 Ultimate Team video. It's time for another top 5, and in today's video, we're going to go over the top 5 wide receivers in MUT 22. This is your October update. We will definitely do this again when more cards come out. And I gotta say, we've put out a handful of these videos so far. Wide receivers have probably been the toughest one to break down because there's so many of them, a lot of different price ranges, and a lot of you play differently than each other. So you might be looking for one thing versus another when it comes to wide receiver. But if you guys find this video helpful, do me a favor, go ahead and click that thumbs up. It shows a ton of support on the video. And if you guys want to check out more of these types of videos, if you found this video searching through YouTube, or maybe it was recommended to you, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on so you guys are alerted when we drop additional videos. Team of the week coming out later today. We'll have videos on that content, including a free 90 overall Kyle Pitts. You don't want to miss that video. And speaking of free content, specifically when it comes to team of the week, this is where we start the video. So we always, have kind of a price range, and we go over budget players when it comes to these top 5 videos. There are 3 wide receivers, and the boat is kind of missed, but these are still on our budget list because they fall under 100K. There are 3 team of the week wide receivers that over the last couple weeks you could have earned for free. And hopefully, if you've been paying attention to my videos, you got these cards. If you weren't paying attention, or you weren't subscribed, or didn't have that notification bell on, well, there's another warning for you to do so you don't miss out on content in the future, starting today, like I said, with that Kyle Pitts. So 388 overall team of the week receivers, all under 100K, all pretty solid. We got Marquise Brown here, who's got 93 speed. CeeDee Lamb, I can't remember his speed. I think it's 91. No, it's 90. But pretty solid route running, pretty solid catching traffic, and for a free card, you know what I'm saying, I would take it. And then the third one here is Deebo Samuel, which I think had 91 speed. Let me go back and check. Obviously, Marquise Brown is going to be the best of all of them. Here's Deebo Samuel, not the greatest route running, but pretty good speed there. He is on the shorter end at 5'11". But my point of bringing up these cards is that they were all free, okay? So we're going to go over 2 budget cards, and for this video, I said 125K and under for budget cards, and then we'll get into our top 5. So the first budget card is going to be Rising Stars Jalen Waddle, and we picked him because I think he has just a good combination of everything. Number 1, he's under 100K, extremely affordable. Number 2, he's another card, though he wasn't the best choice, he was another card that you could have got for free as part of the Wild Card Wednesday fantasy pack. He is only 5'10", so you're not getting height there, but 91 speed. He's got 85 catch, 83 catch in traffic. Not great, obviously, but he's a deep threat wide receiver. I wouldn't worry about a ton of catch in traffic when it comes to there. Short route running 83, mid route running 85, deep route running 88. So we're mainly taking this card because he's really fast and he has good deep route running. He's a deep threat wide receiver, and he falls under that 100K price range for our budget items. Kelvin Ridley is the second budget item on our list. He's a little bit over 100K, but you can get this card for free. Part of the Most Feared promo. We broke down all 8 of the Release 2 90 overall Most Feared cards, and he was number 1 on my list. But even if you didn't pick him as your free card, I think he's worth the coin. 6'1", so he's taller than Waddle. He's a little bit more expensive, but not by a ton. It's not going to empty your bank account to make 20-30K to get this card. 91 speed, so same speed there, but the route running across the board is really, really good. None of them above 90. If you power them up, you're looking at then 89 short route running, 88 mid, and 89 deep. So you're not too far from a strategy item, maybe getting that deep or that short over 90, or maybe even the mid. But the other great thing about this card, by the way, 88 catch, 86 catch in traffic. The other great thing about this card is he's a route runner archetype, which means he can get slot apprentice for 2 ability points. He can get route technician for 2 ability points. Route runner archetype, by far the best archetype in the game for any wide receivers out there. So those are our 2 budget items. So let's get into the top 5. Now, I set a limit of 350K because there are some receivers like that brand new Brandon Marshall, the Most Feared LTD. And that's probably the best wide receiver in the game, right? But he's super expensive, and I know all of you can't afford everything here, so we wanted to set a maximum of 350K in our top 5. And I told you earlier in the video, I still had a really hard time breaking it down. So we're going to start off with 5A and 5B. So coming in at 5A or 5B, whatever you want to put him at, right, is going to be 92 overall legendary Andre Johnson. He's 6'3", so we got a receiver with some height there, 91 speed, 89 catch, 92 catch in traffic. He is the physical wide receiver archetype there. We'll take a look at what abilities he can get and how much they cost. Route running, he's got 2 of the 3 route runnings over 90. So that was one thing that I was really paying attention to. Short route running, 87, mid 91, deep route running, 92. And out of those 3, I think short route running is probably the least important. So he has both of the more important route running attributes above 90, and they gave Andre Johnson some really good speed. This is a really good card. He'd probably be up on my list, like closer to number 1. And he's not overly expensive, but the pricing there compared to some of these other guys that we're going to name, he's just a little bit more expensive. So let's take a look at what abilities he can get per MUT.GG. And I mean, he gets the deep in and out, the mid in and out, and the short in and out elite. As you can see there, the majority of those cost 2 ability points. The mid out is 1 ability, short out 1 ability. I would focus with this card on either mid in and out or deep in and out elite there for the abilities. He can get outside apprentice. Matchup nightmare is pretty glitchy as well. He also can get route tech. It's a little bit more expensive at 3 ability points versus, you know, like we said with the route runner archetype, it's only going to cost you 2, but the fact that he can get it is pretty good. And then as far as pricing goes, I don't think he's super expensive. Remember, we set our limit at 350. On PlayStation, he's about 285k. On PC, 450k. So obviously that's really expensive on PC, but there's not a ton of PC users out there. So we're really going by PlayStation and Xbox markets, and on Xbox he's 265k. So that is number 5A on our list. Now we have Miles Austin, and I think this card, he's a little bit more expensive than Andre Johnson, but I would spend the extra coin out there mainly because of the archetype. So 91 speed, same there, 6'2", he's a little bit shorter, but he does have 92 catch, which is great. Catch in traffic is at 89, short route running 88, mid 91, deep 87. So he's not giving you 2 of the 3 above 90 like we saw with Andre Johnson, but the archetype alone is the big reason why you would take this card, because you're getting that speed there, you're getting really good solid catching, and he's a route runner archetype. And if we take a look at the abilities that he can get, they're pretty much all the same, right? Short in and out, mid in and out, deep in and out. He gets slot apprentice, you can't see it, but he gets slot-o-matic, he gets outside apprentice, he gets route tech. But you'll notice there, if you compare those to Andre Johnson, the cost in ability points is, you know, significant, well, not significantly, but it's cheaper. And obviously you want to try to save as many ability points as you can to put as many abilities on as many players as you possibly can as well. So if we take a look at the pricing on this card, a little bit more expensive, 302k on Xbox for Miles Austin, on PlayStation 299k, and then finally on PC 259k. If I had to take one over the other, because I have experience with using this Miles Austin card, I would go with Austin. That plus the fact that he's route runner archetype. Number 4 on our list of top 5 wide receivers in the month of October for MUT 22 is Rising Stars Chase Claypool. This is a 90 overall card, but I mean, take a look at this one. It looks really good. So he's 6'4", he's tall, he's got 91 speed, he's fast, 91 catch, that's above 90 and really good. 89 catch in traffic, I think that's the best we've seen so far. I can't remember off the top of my head what Andre Johnson's was. And again, with the route running, he's only got 1 of the 3 above 90, but short route running being at 88, mid being at 87, they're pretty close to 90, and I like the speed, I like the height. Deep route running coming in at 91. He is also a physical wide receiver, so the only thing with this card is that he's not going to give you the abilities for as cheap as a route runner would, but he does get most of the major, I think all of the major abilities you're going to want here. Deep in and out, mid in and out, short in and out. He gets outside apprentice, he gets route technician. The good thing and the best thing and why this card is number 4 is, though he may not be as good as Andre Johnson or Miles Austin, he's significantly cheaper. And obviously, if you guys are trying to save some coin or get some good production for the cost of your coin, I mean, 126k on PC there. On PlayStation, right under 150k, he's 147 on average, and on Xbox, 134. So again, Miles Austin, Andre Johnson better than this card, but when you factor in pricing, I'm going with Chase Claypool. EA like never ever really gives AJ Green speed in MUT, and this flashback card which didn't come out too long ago. I think it was just last week that it came out, right? A week from tomorrow. 6'4", 91 speed. So we're seeing a trend here with the 91 speed. 89 catch, a little bit lower than Claypool. 88 catch in traffic, I think is -1 there. He does give you 92 on the deep route running, and then his short and mid are a little bit better than Chase Claypool. So that's why he's going to come in at number 3 over Claypool there. We got short route running at 88, mid route running at 89, and deep route running at 92. You throw in the power up, now you're looking at mid at 90. Deep route running was already above 90, and short route running is one away from 90. Again, certain strategy items, you might be able to boost that up a little bit there. So this card's good. He's tall, he's fast, he can catch, he's got good route running across the board. Another physical wide receiver archetype, which I'm sounding like a broken record here, means he can get all of the good abilities, but they're going to be a little bit more expensive than they would be if they were a route runner. But there they are, still not too bad, and I think this card is kind of slept on. I don't think a lot of people are going to be using it, and I think for what he gives you on the field, he's pretty affordable. Slightly more expensive than Chase Claypool card, but 163K on Xbox, on PlayStation about 160K, and then finally on PC about 129K. Now remember, there will be a free Wildcard Wednesday fantasy pack, the third one of the year, coming out in a couple weeks, and this card will be one of those options. Will he be one of the top tier wide receivers at that point in the game? I don't know if he'll kind of fall out of that top 5, but early on, this is a pretty good item that you might want to select out of that fantasy pack. This card has probably been my favorite wide receiver of MUT 22 so far in the year. It's 91 overall. Legend Jerry Rice, and this card is a little bit old, so a lot of the cards we've been going over are, you know, fairly new or newer than this card, and this one still I think is the number 2 wide receiver in the game when you factor in pricing as well. 6'2", 91 speed, he's got 91 catch, so that's above 90. 90 catch in traffic, that's above 90. Short route running 88. Remember I said that's probably the most or the least important. Mid route running 90, deep route running 90. So we got 2 of the 3 above 90 there. I mean, there's really no problems with this card, and above all of that, he's a route runner archetype. We've been telling you about that the entire video, and that means that he can get the good abilities for good pricing. So he's got deep in and out, mid in and out, short in and out, slot apprentice, outside apprentice. He can get slot-o-matic, he can get route tech, and none of them are going to cost you more than 2 ability points. Also, when you take a look at his pricing, this would be my key here, right? If you're going to buy this card, you're watching this video and you want it, you may want to wait until the weekend. Now on PC, he's averaging about 197K, on PlayStation 210K, and then on Xbox 186. You can absolutely get this card for under 190K. If you wait until the weekend, that's when his pricing is down. Over the weekend, we put out a video going over the market and some items that you might want to buy because they're cheaper on Saturdays, and this was one of them. So if you're in the market for a wide receiver, you might want to wait until Saturday. You can probably get this card if you're lucky or, you know, very diligent about what you pay for each item to do his set. You could probably get him under like 175K. Great card, second best wide receiver in the game when you factor in price, in my opinion. It's 91 overall Legend Jerry Rice. The crazy thing as we move on to number 1, and I'm guessing a lot of you guessed this was going to be the case, is that I probably just made a case for Jerry Rice being number 1, but we're going to throw Randy Moss in there as well. 6'4", 92 speed, so obviously he's one more faster than Jerry Rice. He's going to be taller, and a lot of people think he kind of got shafted with the speed, and I agree, right? 92 speed for Moss. He's tied with all of the fastest wide receivers in the game, minus, I think, Marquise Brown and Will Fuller are the only 2 that are a 93 speed, or no, Marquise Brown's 92, Will Fuller's 93, but he's a LTD, and he's really expensive. But back to Randy Moss here, 92 speed, he's got 90 catch, 91 catch in traffic, both above 90. Short route running 87, a little bit lower than Jerry Rice. Mid route running 88, which is also lower than Jerry Rice. I think Rice was at 90 or 91. And then deep route running, of course, Randy Moss, probably the best or biggest deep threat in NFL history with the 92 deep route running. So he's +1 on the speed compared to Jerry. His deep route running's a little bit better. His catching and catching traffic are pretty much equal. It's the short and mid that are a little bit less. When you think about pricing and archetype, maybe that's why Jerry Rice could and should have been number 1. But we'll stick with Randy Moss here at number 1, 93 overall. And the good thing about this card is that even though he's, you know, he's kind of in between. He's expensive, but he's also not. If I told you a month ago that you were going to get a most feared Randy Moss and you could get him for under 350K, you probably wouldn't have believed me. And I thought he would cost more than that. He's actually cheaper right now than he was over the weekend. I think over the weekend he was like 380, 370 around there. Again, with the archetype here, he's going to get good abilities, deep in and out, mid in and out, short in and out. He's got outside apprentice. He cannot get route tech as far as I can see. He does get matchup nightmare, slot-o-matic, but it's really, really expensive. So he just doesn't give the greatest or get the greatest abilities. So I would definitely add deep in and deep out. They're both 1 ability point. Those would probably be my go-to abilities. On this card, I tried it with outside apprentice, and it just didn't really, for the way I run my offense, it didn't really factor or make a difference. 330K on Xbox, on PlayStation 349K, and then finally on PC 361. We were targeting under 350K on the Xbox and PlayStation markets for all of the cards that we put into this video, and I think that's a pretty solid list with Randy Moss coming in at number 1. Let me know if there's anybody that I maybe missed out on, any budget guys or sleeper wide receivers that you guys are using in the game right now, and also down below in the comments section, let me know what position we should cover next. We've almost covered all the positions. I think we need to do strong safety, outside linebackers, defensive tackles, and offensive linemen. I think we've covered the majority of the important positions on offense other than offensive line, and we'll be recycling these, going back and doing running backs, halfback, or they're the same thing, running backs, quarterbacks, tight ends again. So we'll cover all the positions, and we'll do this once a month, every month. Thank you guys so much for tuning in once again. My name is Popular Stranger. I'm out. Peace.